girl, where will you go? I'm going where the cold wind blows. In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night through. My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night through. My girl, where will you go? I'm going where the cold wind blows. In the pines, sun, the shine, I shiver. Whoa. Not through.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Plus Parquet and the new people that have showed up. Hopefully, you like the intro. Hopefully, you like everything that's going on here. We're going to be doing the same thing as always, guys. I'm trying my best to get back into DRA, and I'm trying my best to get into the GT1 League for next Manufacturer or Nations Cup. That being said, this is Gran Turismo 7 World Series 2025 Exhibition 1 Manufacturers Cup. I've chosen McLaren. I chose an MR car for the first time since Gran Turismo Sport. I haven't chosen an MR car. There I am right there. My livery is better than yours, like always. I just really wanted to try something different and just, I had no practice. Both of this is going to be rounds 1 and round 3. I skipped round 2. Both round 1 and round 3 is going to be in this race. That's going to be this race at Suzuka. And then also the rain race at Spa is going to be in this video. Let's see, I might win one of them. I don't know. Let's find out. They're very good races. I really enjoyed them quite a bit. We're going to be exploding radars, exploding inputs at the bottom. We're tracking trail braking. We're tracking my braking, getting faster on brakes, and on the slowdowns and accelerations. We gotta get on it. All right, guys, this is coming at you. Let's do it. I really like these races. They were a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys like the way I'm editing. I'm gonna edit the first race a little bit different. All right, man, let's get after it. Let's get it. Hopefully you guys like it. Press those buttons, do those things. You know what I need. Thank you. I'll see you. Let's get it. And also, I am the highest ranked driver in this lobby. There's 134 points available if you win this race. In the GT2 lobby, I am ranked like 29,999. So I am so close to A, but it was still GT2 when I registered. It is what it is. All right, maybe I'm A by the end of this video. Let's find out. Let's go. So you guys already know how I do it. You know that I got exactly 0 laps of practice. I wasn't able to put in any laps. I had to go off of just my knowledge on Suzuka and the S's and what Group 3 cars normally feel like. I have never driven the McLaren here since GT Sport, so and I certainly wasn't sure what the strategy was. I just knew softs and mediums. We're going 15 laps on softs and mediums, okay? I wasn't sure what my pace was going to be like. I had no idea. So I qualified P4? Qualified P4. I got that big number 1 on the side of my car. I'm the highest ranked driver in here. It just, I edited this first race a little bit differently. I just tried to implement a little bit more speed to it, a little bit more, A little bit less reviews that I normally do. So we'll see how I add the inputs, the radars and stuff like that, because this is going to be a little bit, this first race I'm going to edit slightly differently than I normally do. So let me know how you feel about it, and we'll go from there. The second race I'm going to do in my normal style, I bet. The second video will be in my normal style. Let's see how this first video goes, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I wasn't sure about my pace. I just knew if I went on the softs, I would go on the softs as long as I possibly could. And then go back on and go on to the mediums. I just figured that I don't know how long the tires are gonna last. I didn't get to watch a video. I didn't see a live stream. I didn't see anything, guys. I just jumped in and just got after it. So on lap 1, I don't know what that Porsche was doing on that first lap. He just lifted. I don't know what the deal was. He's back. He's back in P6 or P7 right now. I don't know what he was doing, but I almost rear-ended him. So I slid out of the way of him, and I got this Dom guy in this Genesis. Was it a Genesis or a Supra? I'm not sure. The Dom is in my behind behind us. And the last thing I'll say is both of these races were in the 9 o'clock final time slot with no practice. You know how I'm stupid. Anyway, that was the end of lap 1. It was not any of the cars I said. It was a Dom is in a Lamborghini, and he was on the inside. He was showing solid pace. You saw from my last video how I am. I let him go by. I'm trying to secure my highest possible position. I'm going to apply pressure to Dom, though. I'm not playing games. It's the World Series. If you're too slow, I'm going around you. Right here, I could tell that I was pushing him a little bit, and we're both in similar cars in the M1. I wasn't trying to go for the move here. I just wasn't. He was going so slow. I just wasn't trying to lose momentum. I don't know if he was upset there thinking I was trying to go for a move, if he was I don't know what he was doing, but it was too slow. Just trying to build the pace as fast as I can and get through this and see if we can leave the pack behind. So up to the end of lap 2, after following him, I made a mistake and almost followed him crazy wide, and then he just whoop. Gotta love that. I'm glad I didn't follow him. This was my view, and I was just like, what the hell? This is his angle. He was coming through. You saw him go wide. I almost followed him going crazy wide, and then he just dumped a car. And then he had one of those.
I almost killed myself, Julie.
Okay, in lap 3 now, if you remember correctly, going into the Casio Triangle, I was out of shape. I went deep, and then dude went off on the banana peel. This dude had a great run on me on the straight, and he already had inside position. I didn't fight it. He was almost side by side me by the time we went by pit lane. At this point, I'm starting to think the top 3 is breaking away from the rest of the pack. We got over 3 seconds to the pack behind us. Now I start to wonder about my strategy. Am I going to work with the Brazilian? Am I going to, who's on softs? Who's on mediums? What's going on? This is where I start to focus on strategy. What's going on? Forget about the pack behind us. They're not going to catch us. This top 3, this is a top 3 battle for the win. But I don't know what other people's tires are on, so all I can do here is just apply pressure and see if this guy's mistake prone. This is where I collect data on you as a driver. I follow you and I watch. Do you make mistakes? Are you trying to overly defend? Are you worried about what I'm doing? Or are you just a fast driver putting in solid time and I can't catch you? I can keep this guy within about a second. The leader was about 3 seconds in front of us. Fast forward, lap 9, it's time for the strategy, the box phase. I didn't know what to do. The soft tires, I could have went another lap, but I figured, what, I'm going to match what the guys do up front. I need to see what tires they're on. I was still able to keep P2 with about a second and a half for me. P1 stretched out about 6 seconds or so. P1 was on softs. P2 was on mediums, guys. He had a faster pace than me on the slower tire. So he's a fast driver. Once I saw him switching to softs for the end stint, I thought, is he going to go on for a win? Is he going to chase the lead for the win? And is he going to make mistakes? Am I going to catch him? I mean, my pace is probably going to be similar. I have not done a single practice lap on mediums, not a single one. So this is a filling out lap for sure. The best part is if you look at the gap that we have behind us, and that's really check out the other tires everyone's on, see what they're up against for this final stint here. But yeah, we're gonna be on mediums for 6 laps here. So we ran softs for 10, mediums for 6, and out front, yeah, F2 Racing, the Brazilian, there they go. He's going for it on the softs at 130R. He makes the pass at 130R on his view here. You see a little bit of contact there between the two of these guys, and I think it was just the road coming together. I don't think there was anything bad here. I think it was just a little bit of filling out for 130R. That's a strong pass. That's a strong pass. He still had a couple laps to do it. I think he could have been a little bit more patient. He had the soft tires, knowing if you're paying attention, he would have seen that the leader was on mediums and he was on softs. So with that said, he could have probably been a little bit better with his pass, considering he had 3 laps to go. Those are the condition of his tires there. In the end, guys, it just wasn't enough. P3 was all I could do. I got on the podium. This was the first round.
Sexy. Okay?
So podium on the first round, P3. I just could not get close enough to those guys. That W Ferrer 84 Brazilian driver in the Lamborghini, he was rapid. He had a pace. There was no other McLaren on the list that you can even see here. I didn't run into too many McLarens. But you know, either way, that was a fun race. There wasn't a whole lot of action. That's why I dumped the round 1 and round 3 together, because that you know, I'm not going to show you driving, or you don't want to watch me driving by myself for 10 laps. So we cut to the end. But either way, it's all about strategy. It's all about the hips and nips, guys. You got to make it sexy, or you don't
gotta
eat.
make it sexy.
Dom
Hips and
P90,
nips, otherwise I'm
after he
not
made
eating.
that big mistake, he had solid pace. You see where he comes? You know, it's just a shame. You know, and that's the difference between being frantic, panicking, and trying to stay ahead, and trying to do the most, and just knowing what you're capable of, locking in, and being as consistent as I can. You know, I like to worry about qualifying, but at the same time, guys, it really comes down to, can you do that lap time for 13 laps? Can you do that lap time for 15 laps? Coming up in the rain race, can you do that for 30 laps? Can you keep your car on the road for 30 laps? Dude, the rain race at Spa was an hour and 15-minute race, dude. It was brutal. Let's go.
If I was you, I would cut up my wrist. Exotic all over her body. Oh, she just wanna roll and I don't mind it. Ever since I was a G, I've been legit. Oh, now you should let her go. She wanna be next. Double O, tell it on her
All right, it's still GT2. Now, again, no practice, no live streams. I couldn't see anything, didn't know the strat. I figured it was going to be dynamic weather. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go at the last minute. So I qualified on hard tires with no practice. Of course, like always, just like I mentioned in the first race, this was the 9 o'clock time slot, the only chance I had. It was the only opportunity I had to do it. So no practice, no strategy, no idea what's going to happen, how the dynamic weather played in. I didn't know if wets were on the table, if it's inters or what, but the options are wet, inter, hard with no pit stop mandatory. I was thinking GT2 was going to be maybe 15 laps. That's the only reason I jumped into it. I had no idea it was still 30 laps. I maybe would have just skipped it, but I'm happy I did it. I'm really happy I did it. It was over an hour. There were some A's in here, so I qualified P8, man. It is what it is. This race was intense. My shirt was wet at the end, that's for sure. My pants, my panties were wet too, maybe. I don't know. Stuff was happening. Liquid came out of me. I don't know. Liquid was on the ground. I had windshield wipers in the game and inside my pants. So let's do this. Luckily, oh my God, P8, dude, I almost got caught in the broken rolling stuff. Oh.
Drive on the driving Gruner, baby.
Okay, it's wet out. Let's go. No, to say I was going to take lap 1 gingerly is an understatement, considering I knew that this was a race that was going to be over an hour in this cockpit. And again, like I said, no practice, no idea what was going to happen. I don't know what the strat is, the dynamic weather. I don't know if it was going to be the same. I didn't even watch a live stream to even know if it was going to be the same or not. I don't know if it was going to change each race. If it was the same, I didn't know, because this was the 9 o'clock time slot, my only chance. And like I said, zero laps before we qualified. So I was a little bit slow on the hard tires. I was worried about the transition between intermediates and slicks. The wet tires were not needed for this race. As you can see, I was the 12th ranked driver in this lobby. In this round, in this time slot, it was a mixed bag. There was maybe a half dozen A's in this lobby. They were more towards the front. I did qualify P8, like I said, as the 12th out of 16th driver ranked. This race was something else. I loved it. I really did. I thought I was going to hate it and be so mad. I would have been if I didn't work with people the way that I do. And this one in particular. So the first thing I'm going to show you is lap 1, halfway through. I don't know. In the race, I was like, what the hell did I do? I didn't downshift to third. I thought I downshifted to third and I didn't. And I turned in and I'm like, what?
No! What are you doing?
What happened? What the hell? And then I almost turned in on the Genesis of Too Skinny. Too Skinny J. Me and Too Skinny are going to go back and forth this entire race. He is so lucky I saw him at the last second. I saw him at the last second that he was on the inside. Because I went wide. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. Right here. That I opened the steering just a tiny bit on my trajectory on the way back in, which allowed him the space to squeeze through there. Without that, we probably both would have died. This is how close this race came to ending.
Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
It was, if I didn't open that steering just that tiny little bit, we both would have died for sure. Then I just want to highlight this Brazilian in P2. I'm going to call him Juan, I guess. I don't know if it's Juan Ho. I don't know what he's trying to write. This dude, that wasn't his fault. That was just a dude spinning out in P1. That was our first casualty. But he's the type, even that wasn't too bad. It was some hard racing. But, like, dude, you weren't alongside. You're nudging him to get alongside of him. And he's a piece of shit, dude. If there's space to put your car there, he's going to put it there and bump you and make you go. He doesn't care. He's one of those people, even if it's an illogical move, he'll still do it. He doesn't care. Ridiculous. You'll see. And I get alongside the Genesis here, and this Genesis just yanks away from me like I'm nothing, like I'm standing still. So this Genesis, myself and Too Skinny, we go at it. Yeah, the Genesis is really hard to stick with on the straights, especially in the McLaren. Whenever I have to lift on our Rouge, it's not going to work out very well for me. So still in P8, halfway through lap 2. Looks like Hogzilla here turned in on the Genesis. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to review it. It's not that big of a deal. I could have gave him a little bit more room if I was going to go middle of the road there coming down the hill, but, you know, he could have also not bumped me. That would have been cool. Either way, it's all good. We survived. Coming through here, I had a lot of success just going up to third gear there and not even entertaining second gear whatsoever at all. I got a little bit wide there out on that outside curb, and once you do that, you do not want to go crazy here and try to hit throttle. He went for a move here. He was behind me, and luckily I was able to see that he jumped down the inside of me. I gave him space. He gave me enough space. He could have maybe, you know, whatever. It is what it is. We're all good. I have 2 people inside of my rear end.
What do you mean?
Oh, jeez.
What do you mean?
I'd appreciate it if they back off. One of them is a McLaren, a very rare McLaren that I haven't really run into any in the 2 races I've been in so far. So, coming through at the end of lap 2, the McLaren's right behind me. His name is just what is it? Just Wicket? Yeah, just Wicket. The McLaren right behind me. He was not bad. Him and I rarely had any contact. He was able to stick with me for a good portion of the race. I don't think he really got in front of me too much here, but yeah, finishing lap 2, it already felt like should have been lap 15 already. Felt like I was ready to have a stroke immediately. Take a look at the inputs here. McLaren was strong on the brakes coming up alongside of me. Maybe on my defense, I could have been a little bit faster on the brakes. Either way, still solid defense. Beige Becky, get out of the way. He's coming down the hill at me and almost rear ends me. Luckily, he evaded me, and I was already turning in anyway for the turn. Now, this is the time where I thought, this is my chance. I need to get away. I don't know. I don't like this Mert guy behind me. I don't know. I just got a bad vibe from him. Good vibe from the McLaren. I just wanted to get away as fast as possible. Fast forward, starting lap 5 here. Nothing too much happened. I was able to get away from Mert. Like I said, about a second and a half on Mert. At this point, we got a spinner off on the right-hand side. Another BMW. There was tons of BMWs. A lot of people picked that as the manufacturer. Now, the Genesis had a half-second penalty. I was able to catch up in halfway through lap 6. And then I had a little bit, I don't know why I hesitated here. I should not have hesitated. I was really worried about it. And at this point, this is when I knew that me and the Genesis, we're golden. We're going to have a good time. Too Skinny, I won't forget you. I've raced with you before, but this is when I knew he was going above and beyond to make sure that we didn't collide going around there. That was kind of on me. The awkwardness was on me. I should have just went for it and not been shy going around there, but you know, passing around the outside on that turn is always something to see. That'll go in the racing spank bank. Another move around the outside at Blanchiment. Anyway, Blanchiment. Sorry, I had to put some emphasis on that. Super American. Apologize. So, lap 7, P6, back in front of the Genesis. But I had to lift so much going up Eau Rouge and watch this Genesis reel me in. That was not that much lifting. It wasn't even a full lift. It was a couple half lifts with a little bit of a delay, yes, but he reels me in so fast that I give him the turn signal. You guys you saw the previous races. I gave him the turn signal. He was able to hold it in. We have the McLaren just wicked right behind us again. So, like I said, too skinny now. We were 2 peas in a pod here. So coming through, following him to the end of lap 7, and then he makes a mistake. At this point, I start to realize, all right, this Genesis is mistake prone. I saw him going wide. I gave him tons of space because I didn't want him to snap oversteer me into the wall. At this point, still a little sick. Still got a cough. I'm sorry. At this point, lap 8, I'm thinking I'm not going to let him through again. I'm going to defend. We need to get on with this. I didn't know, but up in front of me, you see me coming in the background there. We got another spinner, which is the guy that I didn't trust anyway. So I'm happy that he went off and I didn't have to deal with Hogzilla anymore. Nothing against him or anything. It was just we had a couple little argy-bargy moments, and I just was like, you know what? Seeing him go off to the right-hand side when I saw the two-tone Lambo on the right, I thought, fantastic. P5, we're through. And then that's another guy that I was a little bit worried about sportsmanship-wise. And it was totally fine. I'm just saying. Just one of those things I'm always thinking. Okay, lap 9 feels like lap 200 already. I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this for another 21 laps. But either way, we come through here. The Porsche in front of me gets a little bit out of shape going up over top of Eau Rouge. He had to slow down. He probably had to lift quite a bit. I'm not going to look at it. Doesn't matter. But he lifted quite a bit. There we are. P4 with 6,000 more laps to go. Everything should be perfectly fine. Let's do it. Now with him in my gearbox, I have to just stay strong and not be so passive. If someone's really pushing the pace really hard, then I'm going to let them through. If they're struggling and continue to have mistakes, then I need to stay in front and try to defend my position as best I can. Went a little bit deep there. Unfortunately, he tried sticking his nose in there, but it's okay. He's fair. He knew to back off of that. I went a little bit wide, unfortunately. At this point, on the inters, that dry line is getting very, very strong. That dry line, everyone I bet is starting to consider now coming in at this point. The radar wasn't making any sense to me. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you did this race and the radar wasn't making a lot of sense. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Regardless, I wasn't sure. That dry line, you can see it's coming. The other McLaren gets it wrong. It goes wide there. Either way, look at that dry line, dude. That dry line had me really thinking, and I need to be better at picking up water off the dry line whenever it's in this transitional stage like this. I really need to work on cooling the tires off a little bit more. But that dry line is really coming together. Now, there's going to be some people that box early. One person that boxes early is Juan, the dirty Brazilian in P2 right now. He boxes early and goes on to the hard tires. I was so worried about having to spin. The slicks, especially hard slicks, are so terrible whenever it's wet. Blow up the inputs real quick for you. He was getting really close to me, and he peels off and goes into the pits. He's going to go onto the hards. He has seen enough. And I was not ready for that. I did not want to have a spin, dude. I would rather stay on the inters as long as I possibly could. Fast forward to the end of that lap, the leader comes in. The leader has a very, very strong pace. Juan in P2 also came in and goes onto the hards. At this point, I'm coming in. Again, I think it's the next stint. Juan comes in early. Either way, I come in with the leaders. Those are the guys that I'm trying to match. P1 and P2 came in and went on the hards. That's when I went on the hards. We had to really look at all that hard work. Too skinny. I got 10 seconds now. I worked out 10 seconds on too skinny during that pit phase. He's on the hards. I'm on the hards. Let's get after it. No practice on the hards. Cold tires. Look what I do, guys. What was that? You couldn't.
This world's fucking so
I couldn't
fucked
be more straightened up. Dude, I don't know why that happened, but it happened. Okay, I had myself a spin. That 10 seconds, I just got right front suspension damage, front aero damage. Luckily, we're in GT2, so that damage is going to heal itself on its own. 10-second lead on Too Skinny is gone, down to a second and a half to 2 seconds after I got back on the circuit. Good thing I built myself that 10-second lead, because now I got this Genesis in my asshole again.
What?
Just because Too Skinny's back, you know, we have to remember, we collect the data on these people as we go. Too Skinny is a driver that is mistake prone. He has a very fast pace, but he is mistake prone. I'm willing to give him another chance if he closes the gap. After I made my mistake, I'll call it a mistake because it was me driving and I wasn't on the circuit anymore. So something happened, something bad happened. I won't take the blame. I don't believe it. It was a ghost. Either way, look at the delta at the top here. We have Houston, we have a problem. It's just, I wasn't sure if he was going to make it in time. I hit him with the turn signal. Anyway, letting him know, go ahead, if you're going to go ahead and go, Too Skinny. I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to lose any time with you, but you make any more mistakes, instantly made a mistake. God damn it, Too Skinny, get the hell out of the way. That was it. That was it. Once he made that mistake, I thought, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm not going to let him through. Then we fast forward a couple laps, and then I make a mistake, go wide, and I slow down and let him through because I didn't know he had a penalty. If I would have known he had a half-second penalty, I would have never let him through there. But once I went wide and I felt his pressure, I just stayed wide and let him go through. And he really wasn't pushing it. He didn't want to because he had the penalty, and I didn't. That was a lapse of judgment. I should not have done that. I should have stayed in front of him. After that last mistake, I should have known. No more letting Too Skinny in front, defend and make him get around because he can't do it. So fast forward, we get to, this is lap 17, guys. It feels like lap 279. But at this point, just like last time we came to Blanchiment, I didn't want to go around the outside. I just wanted to slot in behind him and give myself a chance once we get to the straights here. I knew that he would make another mistake. So going around after the penalty, I just wasn't close enough. It's all good. Let's just follow him through. You know, now that it's calmed down, we're both on hards. I don't know if the rain's coming back. I have no idea what's going on. So at this point, I'm just going to follow him through and go from there. At the same time, we go to the front of the field, okay? Again, going back to this dude, Juan. This dude is the type of guy that will put his car anywhere he wants to put it. Now, the thing I want to highlight, why'd he let go of his brakes, guys? You know, that's what I'm saying. It's one thing to go into that turn and try to make that turn. It's another thing to let your brake pedal go whenever you're side by side. So I understand why Mateus gave him that back. You know, he came right back at him. If you're gonna bump his quarter panel and snub him and push him out wide, why can't the Audi do it right back to him? So Mateus gave it right back to him and bumped him wide. Now, this is the first intentional dirty bullshit that happens, is Juan punts him off the circuit. Do you see how far off it?
Watch out!
You think it's gonna happen? That was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life, and I edited it for your viewing pleasure. So that was the first thing. That was a big punt, okay? That was dirty. He punted him off the track whenever they were being argy-bargy back and forth, and look at that connection. Beautiful. Unfortunately, he didn't blast him hard enough. Then they come back through here. The BMW's following him through, Juan's following him through, and then, like, he's just, look at that shit, dude. Juan is the piece of shit. Now, I believe he is also a controller player as well. Mateus didn't have to give it back to him and go just shoving right back at him. But in my opinion, Juan coming down the hill, let the brake go to slide into him and shove him wide. And Mateus gave it right back to him. And then now here they are in the straight. I had no idea that this was going on in front of me. If I wouldn't have spun out and lost, I lost 10 seconds. I lost at least 10 seconds. It was a good 8 to 10 seconds. These guys are up here doing, plebs of the week, dirty racer, like just pulling over, waiting for each other, smashing each other off the circuit, doing the dumbest shit in the world. And I had to have that spin with no pressure, no issues at all. And I just had to have that spin. If I wouldn't have had that spin, they wouldn't have been able to do this with each other. I would have been in their gearbox and they would have had to just carry on, or I would have just drove right around them. So I didn't know that Juan was being like this up front. The whole time he's acting like this. And look at this. He went for the big punt right there, and Mateus outsmarted him. I may actually end up submitting this to Tigeny for Plebs of the Week because that was really stupid. That whole situation was so dumb, and it is all predicated by Juan. Him coming down the hill, not being alongside him at all, and just letting the brake go to slide into the side of Mateus to take the lead. And then Mateus gives it right back to him, and then that's whenever Juan starts the punting and waiting for him around the corner and all that bullshit, shoving him off the circuit. Now, did Mateus take the nudge and drive off circuit to give him a 3-second penalty? Yeah, probably. But either way, both of those guys are wrong. Just stop it, guys. Just stop it. Just have fun. Stop being a baby. Juan serving that penalty. We're back up. We're up to P4. We have two Skinny in front of us, holding steady, and we have this Argentinian coming strong behind us. Now, I didn't know how close he was at the time, of course, and we kind of had a little awkward moment there. But, you know, he had tons of momentum. I gave you the inputs to see. I lifted. I had no choice but to lift. He clearly didn't lift, and that's all there is to it. I'm trying to take advantage of these hard tires as best I can because the rain is coming. Here we go, guys. The rain is back. Dynamic rain is here. There's nothing I can do. I will not risk it. There was a chance to stay out there. The leader, Mateus, stayed out on the hards. Take note of that. The leader stayed out on hards one extra lap. I came in on the inters. I was way too afraid to have another thing that I already done. Dude, nightmare fuel. Straight up nightmare fuel. So now we're back on the inters. I didn't think wets were necessary. Either way, Juan is behind me, dude. I had no idea that was Juan and everything that he was up to that in that race. Giving him the turn signal was probably the best decision I made in this entire race. Thinking back at it now, yeah, it was. So I just followed him. I knew he was fast. I believe he's a controller player. Either way, he's a very fast driver. He's just very aggressive and very mean and doesn't care about your car whatsoever at all. I just wanted to highlight this real quick. Dude, this guy right here was in front of us, okay? And yeah, he still had to absorb the pit and everything, but he changed to wet tires. You know, I don't know if they were viable, if they were any good. That was the first time I saw that. I saw he switched to wets, and I thought, oh shit, did I make a mistake? Is there, you know, is this about to get really bad? I didn't even look at the radar, guys. During this race, I didn't look at the radar not one time. Because we're coming up to a moment, because this race was over an hour. If you know anything about PS5, you can only capture the live stuff, the live 4K for an hour at a time. So during this race, I had to stop the recording and try to restart it. It didn't work out. Either way, guys, we got a dozen seconds between me and the lead at this point. So after the pit phase, everyone is back on the inters or wets, rain tires, whatever the case is at this point. I just showed you the leaders about 15 seconds in front of me at this point. Too Skinny had built a 3-second lead. Jumping into his car, this second stint of rain was, I swear it was heavier, dude. He loses it coming up Eau Rouge when I'm about 2.5 seconds behind him at this point. And here I come breezing right by him as he made that mistake. That was huge for us because I know he had pace, but he was mistake prone. This is where the live video ended. So I have no more 4K footage of the live race. Either way, I just figured, you know what, I almost dumped the car trying to restart the recording during the race on the Kemmel Straight and decided, you know what, we're not going to do that. We'll just finish it with the replay. We're good. So P5, we got 6 laps to go. I just want to highlight one again, dude. Again, watch him let the brakes go on the Argentinian. This is so shady, dude. Especially during, why is he letting the brake go? When he's not going to make the turn and he's going to hit into the side of your car, why would he let the brakes go if he's not trying to be dirty, guys? He's being dirty. He's using, look at this dive bomb. He's using your car as a brake. This isn't one of those guys that, you know, oh, I touched you, sorry. Why are you getting so mad? Why are you hitting me back? All I did was bump you a little tiny bit. What the hell? You turn it, and then look what he does. Then he's clean here. I'm just like, it's just really odd. It's really, really odd. Anyway, you know, his anger and his bullshit allowed me to get past the Argentinian, so I'm golden. I thought he was going to go off there. The only time a car is crazy twitchy like that is when they're on controller, dude. He has to be on a controller, I believe. Could be wrong. Either way, he's quick. Regardless, I'm going to follow him through on this rain. I already know I don't want to get past him. I didn't even mean to bump him right there. You know, we got six laps to go here. About almost 5 laps to go here. Once we cross this line, we got 5 laps to go. There's no reason to pass Juan at this point. I have no desire to pass him. I'm just going to keep following him. If he makes a mistake by the end, then we'll get him. Otherwise, I don't want to have a collision with him. We've been in this cockpit for 1 hour and almost 2 minutes at this point. Do you see how defensive his driving is? It is wild how defensive he'll be. Coming through here, he already got past the green Porsche. The green Porsche just got out of shape, made a mistake, and Juan was able to get by without bashing. The Argentinian comes back at me and bumps me, and I was going to have a stroke, of course, because it's just like, dude, I didn't do anything to you at all. Because he did that and bumped me wide and just kept going and didn't lift, I'm throwing it around the outside. This is one of my favorite moves. This goes into the spank bank of racing videos. Because he bumped me like that and kept going and didn't lift at all and just took my position like that, I was throwing it around the outside, and no matter what was happening, that position was mine. I was going to take it back from no matter what. That's whenever I get very aggressive. Here's another look at it. This is me coming inside the cockpit. Whenever you do that kind of stuff to me, it does bump my aggression up to the max. And sometimes I pull it up. Sometimes, hey, maybe we both die. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe we both die. This time we don't die. This time, you know, I understand why you were mad, though. Looking back at it now, Argentinian, I get it. It totally makes sense why you were fired up. Then the green Porsche gets out of shape again. I went on the podium, minimum podium. This dude just couldn't get hooked up. Just a masterclass of driving in the wet, man. I went up to 4th gear and tried to stay on that throttle so I'd keep it. I just drove away from him. Then I didn't even realize he had a half-second penalty whenever we were live, I don't think. But half-second penalty, I didn't even need the half-second penalty. I just drove around them, just Max Verstappen-esque. Nothing else happened. We get to the final lap. All I see is rooster tails in front of me, dude. Final lap, and the two guys in front of me have been fighting the entire time. I didn't know that, obviously, in the race, but, you know, I'm thinking, dude, this is on. If they fight with each other, it's on, dude. I'm going to come through for a win. These two guys are going to be on the side of the road. Looking through the replay, you realize how realistic that really is. At the same time, I'm telling you, this second rain stint was heavier. I was trying to keep an eye on that grip meter on the bottom left to see exactly, you know, if it was heavier, if I had less grip than I did the first time on inters, because it felt like it. It really did. This was my last big moment because I see that yellow flag. I'm like, there we go. They're fighting. That's it. I'm coming through. And then I get on throttle here, and the car, it twists just a little bit on me, and I had almost had a heart attack. My butthole almost fell out. Again on the back straight, coming towards Blanchiment for one last time, for the 30th time coming through Blanchiment, and all I see is rooster tails. Come on, guys, fight with each other, fight, kill each other, murder, die. Come on. An hour and 15 minutes, guys, comes down to this, but you see Matthias, he already comes over the finish line, and that's a back mark. Once I got close, that's a back marker in front of us. And Juan held it together. He took P2, probably deserved nothing. Probably deserved a DNF after the way he drove, to be honest. But your boy coming through with a P3 on one of the most difficult races you can imagine. I mean, the difficulty on a race like that, the only thing that can make it even more difficult is to have heavier rain. That kind of thing, make it longer. But dude, 5 positions started P8. There were some A's in the lobby. Jesus approves. Thumbs up. My goodness. What, dude? My back. Oh, swim. I got bodily fluids. I'm sorry. I lost my mind in this race. It was such a good race. It was so fun. I edited this one a little bit differently because it was World Series. I might do some more stuff like that in the future. Sorry, this was a long one, but I really enjoyed it. But after that race, and after my hard work, yeah, boy, there he is. I got my letter grade that I wanted. I'm sure I'll lose it immediately, but hey, there I am, guys. I'm back in A. I really look forward on the next Nations Cup or Manufacturers Cup to get back into GT1 for next time. That was a great race. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you like it. Well, I'm going to hit you with a little outro mini movie to celebrate the video. That was 2 podiums, 2 round 1, round 3. They were both podiums. Phenomenal. I'm about to jump off here right now to go do round 4. It is a 13-lap sprint at Interlagos on hard tires. What a joke. After editing this and dealing with this and the stress of this, and then you give me a sprint. Oh, God. Anyway, all right. If you guys liked it, you know what to do. Hit down buttons. I'll see you soon. Maybe see you in the race in 10 minutes. See you soon. Bye-bye.
just for me. Try and unwind while I lose my mind. I got no place to be. Excuses piling up. I think I need some sunshine that would finally show. I might die if I stay in this cold. And I finally admit it, I gotta be committed to let this story unfold. I hear angels calling my name and I better listen before I implode. I don't care for a minute if no one's gonna get it. Let's try selling our souls. Let's try selling our souls. Let's try selling our souls. Living in filth, can't look at myself 'cause I know what I'm gonna say.
Getting through, fantastic. Armstrong gets forced out wide, but now Schwarzman is vulnerable. For the moment ahead of his teammate. One more time then. Roland on the right, Gasly down the inside. And you saw the wiggle he had at the top.